Hello and welcome to the special festive edition of Ways to Wellbeing, coming to you from the winter wonderland that is Inverness and from the Santa's Grotto that is our Partnerships for Wellbeing podcast studio here in Wells Street. Well, today it's a special programme, so I have not one, not two, but three guests to introduce you to, and one tiny little cameo appearance from a well-known voice. But first, let me introduce you to our first two guests, each of whom have many strings to their bows. In one case, someone with a head for tourism, another with a head for music, but both with a head for business. They are from McGregor's, Joe De Silva and Bruce McGregor. Merry Christmas.
Actually feels very festive now that we're here in this Santa's Grotto.
Now, I said you both had many strings to your bows, but what kind of year has it been for you?
A difficult year, if I'm perfectly honest. It's been a really hard year for a number of reasons. Business-wise, it's been really tough because there have been so many challenges in business. There's been a shortage of staff and all the increases in prices that everybody's seen across the board, whether it's business or home. And then on a personal level, we've lost some really close friends as well. So it has been a really, really, really tough year. But I think for us, I suppose it brings into really sharp focus the things that are incredibly important.
It really rocked us. And the business, all of a sudden, all the worries of business just didn't matter at all. But I think we're beginning to, I was just looking forward to getting this year done. But then you start looking back over the year and you think, God, there were some really good bits. And musically, I think we've been really lucky with Blazing Fiddles. We had our first St Andrew's Night gig at the Usher Hall, which was absolutely packed. We put a new album out at the beginning of the year. So musically, there was a lot of good things. Blazing and Bewley, it was back to the normal amounts after the last few years of, last year we had to have it reduced in scale because of it's still COVID restrictions on things, but this year, it was absolutely bouncing. The whole of Bewley was. So musically, that was great, and I think we've got some of the new members of staff we've got in at McGregor's and working at Wellbeing have been a delight to work with as well. Young, enthusiastic.
We won Pub of the Year.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot about that. The Highland Tourism Awards, getting that.
There's a lot of doom and gloom when you listen to the radio a lot of time and it's sadness and stuff. But then when you start to look for the good things, there are lots and lots of good things. There are lots of good things and really, really, really good people. And I think when we were at the awards ceremony for us, and we didn't, we genuinely, there's so many amazing businesses and bars and so on. And, we're just really grateful that people choose to come to us. And we never forget that, we never forget everybody has a choice. But then for our peers to have said, well, actually, what you do is really good.
Yeah.
It was really lovely, wasn't it? And it was just kind of that point of thinking, we're never going to not be sad. But there are lots of things to be happy for.
It was also a very, very good reminder of how nuts people can be at award ceremonies. Because the table beside us, who will remain nameless throughout this, were absolutely out of the game from start to finish. It was like watching those rock and roll halls of fame kind of thing when some of the bands are completely out of control. They were absolutely out. In fact, one of them got arrested at the end of the night, which was quite impressive. The creme de la creme, I think you called them.
Yeah. Now, is it fair to say, and I hope I'm not giving too much away here, that when you two first met many years ago at the BBC, that you didn't actually like each other that much?
We did not. Oh my goodness.
Well, the problem was, there was a lot of pressure in those days. People coming in and taking your job at the BBC, and it was like cat and dog eat dog in there. Yeah. And I was thinking, oh no, here we go. Smart, talented, threatened. Yeah.
Let's see how well you both know each other now as we play our festive edition of Perfect Partners. this is really all about choices. I've given you each a list and there was no conferring, and all you had to do is guess which choice your partner would make. So I've got Joe's list of preferences here. So Bruce, turkey or a vegetarian option?
That was easy. She's a vegetarian. So that was. We'll eat the odd bit of fish. But...
Christmas crackers or crackers with cheese?
Crackers with cheese.
A wee dram or a wee glass of bubbly?
Bubbly.
Oh, choose a wee dram.
Oh, really? Well, I was thinking Christmas, you know, hot one egg.
Secret whiskey drinker.
To be quite honest, both, I think, is the answer.
Now, not for eating, reindeer or robins?
I think robins.
Yes. Skiing or skating?
Skating, because I've seen her skate, but I've never seen her ski. But she might quite like the idea of going skiing. But she's got dodgy knees, and therefore skating is probably...
Secrets.
She has dodgy knees.
You have, don't you?
Well, do you know, it's just an age thing. You know, it's like everybody when you get to over 50, you kind of wake up in the morning and you go,
I'm afraid she chose skiing.
She chose
I
skiing,
did,
yeah.
do you know, because I just thought to myself, again, Christmas, you know.
Skating?
Yeah.
Eating Boxing Day leftovers or watching a championship boxing match?
Definitely the leftovers. Not a big fan of the boxing.
No.
Ness Islands or an island in the sun?
Island in the sun.
Oh, she chose Ness
No
Island.
way! You're always talking about going to an
Yes, I know,
exotic
but you know,
island.
I'm thinking Christmas, I'm thinking, you know.
Oh, wait a minute.
I know what she's thinking. She's
thinking I'm going to win this.
No, she's thinking I'm involved in the tourist industry.
There's nothing nicer than a wander around the Ness Islands on a Christmas morning.
Urwully or the Bruins?
I've gone for Urwilly. For no reason whatsoever. Not sure.
Well, Jings help model, she chose the Bruins.
The Bruins, yeah.
Music one now. Santa Claus is coming to town or Santa's a Scotsman?
I think Santa Claus is coming to town.
You know her at all?
I don't
She
think he
chose
does.
Santa's a Scotsman.
I've never heard you play that.
No, but you know why? Because that is written by a friend of ours, isn't it?
It is. And Christmas or Hogmanay?
I've gone for Christmas.
How'd you chose Hogmanay? So that's a rule.
Was that 4?
Now, before we get to part 2, we're going to take a break and hear from another dynamic duo about something that's happening next year.
Hello, I'm Grace.
And I'm Karen,
And we are
Those Funny Women
in the Woods.
part of the Inverness Festival of Walking,
And Wheeling.
which is happening in May 2023.
If you want to check out any more information, just go to
p4w.org.uk, which is the website.
Karen and Grace there, and yes, that's all about the Festival of Walking happening next year. Are you walkers or wheelers?
I do a lot of cycling.
You do?
I kind of took it up during the lockdown and then continued it, and I've entered the ETAP this year.
Oh, very good.
Next year, for the first time. So looking forward to that. It's just a great way of getting out into the countryside.
Okay, now it's the moment of truth. It's part 2 of Perfect Partners. And now, Joe, you're trying to guess what Bruce would have chosen, turkey or a vegetarian option?
Turkey.
Crackers or crackers with cheese?
Crackers with cheese.
A wee dram or a glass of bubbly?
Dram.
He's put a glass of bubbly.
Oh!
Reindeer or robins? Again, not to eat.
Robins.
Correct. Skiing or skating?
See, I
No
would have
clues.
gone,
You can't get
no, I
clues.
would have gone skiing. I've got to say, I would have gone skiing.
He's gone skating. Thin ice now.
Oh!
Eating Boxing Day leftovers or watching a championship boxing match?
I'll go eating like
That's correct. Ness Islands or an island in the sun?
Ness Island.
No, he's going for an island in the sun. He'll be hounded out of Inverness.
He will be hounded out. So I'll tell you a open Ness Island, just to show you the beauty.
I know the Ness Islands very well.
Yeah, this time of year it's like Narnia down there. Yeah, absolutely. Urwully or the Bruins?
I'm going to go with the Bruins.
He's gone with Urwully.
So close.
That music question again. Santa Claus is coming to town or Santa's a Scotsman?
Given his answer to the last one, I'm going Santa Claus is coming
That's correct. And finally, Christmas or Hogmanay?
to town.
He's gone with Christmas. So he's always working at Hogmanay.
Well, do you know, it wasn't that bad.
Well,
It was about the same as me, I think, actually.
So that means we're perfectly compatible.
No, I'm afraid not. I can give you the score. Joe, you have scored 6, and Bruce has scored 4.
Winner!
Do you know what, though? I have got something to admit. I answered those questions for you.
Aww.
No, as in, I thought that I was answering that for Joe's choices.
Well, I'm afraid.
So,
No
doesn't
excuse,
matter.
there's no
I
excuse,
think
you know.
the judge's decision is
I
final.
think so, and if you can't read the instructions, you can't read the instructions.
I just realised that we were doing that.
you know.
I've done that wrong.
Anyway, thing is, there are no winners, but Joe, you've won this.
Oh.
Yes!
Chocolate
But
pennies.
you know, I'll share them with you.
That's very nice.
That's true
Thank
love
you.
for you. Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, now you've been very busy at the moment because of Dodgy's Dream. Do you want to tell us what's happening there?
Yeah, we re-released the single. We put the single together 2021, I think it was January. I'd written the tune Hogmanay. Didn't have a title for it, and then was out doing the Doddy Aid thing where people go cycling and running in January. And I came crashing off my bike actually at the top of Loch Ness, up in the hill up there, very icy. And I thought, what am I doing scrabbling about in the ice when I've actually got music that I could raise money for his charity? The tune went into the iTunes charts at the weekend there, and it was number 1 on Saturday. And it's really difficult to work out how the charts work these days. There's so many different streams of it, but you know, getting to number 1 in the iTunes charts was pretty spectacular. So it's out on Amazon now, it's on Spotify. So if we could get it into the Christmas charts, that would be wonderful. So every penny, everybody who got involved with it did it free of charge, and every penny after Spotify, etc., have taken their cut off it, goes directly to the charity.
I noticed you brought your fiddle in with us.
Well, would you look at that?
Would you look at that?
Okay, will you give us something festive?
Yes, why not? I know a couple of festive tunes, not that well, but we'll give this a crack because I think it'll perfectly complement those lovely bells you have.
And I think I'll get out your way in case that.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous thing. So here we go. Well, that's our careers finished.
Bruce McGregor, Joe DeSilva, thank you very much for being our guests on Ways to Wellbeing, and a very Merry Christmas to both of you.
Merry
Thank you,
Christmas
Jeff.
to you, Jeff, as well.
Great stuff there from Bruce McGregor on the fiddle, and he certainly put us in the festive mood. Now, still on a musical theme, and it was referred to in our conversation, that classic Christmas song, Santa's a Scotsman. Well, luckily enough, we have the man responsible for that song, and I believe he has a well-being message of his own to share, but he joins us now from Edinburgh. Richard Melvin, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too. Thanks for inviting me on your show, Jeff.
Now, tell us a wee bit about the song. It's about 16 years old now. It's been going strong. What prompted you to enter that very crowded Christmas song market?
It was just such a joy because we didn't know if anything would happen with it, but we kind of put together this lovely song which had a a sort of nice sentiment of, Santa will find you because he's coming home, and then a good kind of sing along a chorus.
Santa will find you because he's coming home.
And that was back in 2006, and we were lucky for a couple of reasons. One, it was picked up by Radio 2, and Ken Bruce sort of championed it and started playing it every day. And then the head of BBC Radio Scotland, or the head of radio at BBC Scotland at the time, decided to ban it. I think it was you who banned it on Radio Scotland.
I think we should explain that one. At the time, I was that person who banned the song, and I wrote about the story in my book, The Red Light Zone, about you and I were in cahoots, because we worked out that the songs that made it big in the charts were the ones that had been banned. What I wasn't expecting was for you to then go into the press and trash me about banning it.
I don't think I said. I think I just said I was very disappointed, and that Ken Bruce and that Radio 2 could get so behind it, and that you were I think I said something that you were merely attempting to jump on a bandwagon of publicity for yourself. I mean, the irony of that, when I was trying to flog a song at Christmas, we knocked Leona Lewis from X Factor off the #1 spot. But it was in the HMV digital Christmas chart, and we knocked her off the #1 spot for about 20 minutes, right? So it still counts, but we did that for a couple of years of printing them out and sending them out to people and all this. And then by the third year, where I was like, oh, come on, let's just spend the money. So we spent a chunk of money and got like 1,000 CDs professionally made. But by that point, that was when people were just buying it on iTunes and no one was really buying CDs. So I remember after buying 1,000 CDs, and at the end of that year, I had sort of 912 of them left. I mean, it's mainly Ken Bruce who kind of took ownership over it, and it became his kind of Christmas song. And that just was where all the joy came from it, really. And every year there was...
Well, Richard, it's funny you should mention Ken Bruce, because I was recently in touch with Ken, and I was telling him that the song is probably about 16 years old, a sweet 16, and he sent me this message for you.
Well, Richard, who would have guessed that Santa's a Scotsman would still be going on after all these years? I can remember when I first heard it, I couldn't believe the Scotland the Brave guitar break in the middle, nor less could I believe the Rachmaninoff piano concerto at the end. Brilliant work, and it'll continue for another 100 years. Well, maybe a year or two. Well done, Richard.
Yeah.
Oh, that is lovely. That is lovely. Well, again, it comes back to the genius of the Owen Parker, really, the musical elements that he's talking about there.
I hadn't actually picked up on those musical elements.
What makes it quite a perfectly constructed chorus is Santa's a Scotsman. Come on, make a fuss, right? Now, when you think of that line, Santa's Scotsman, come on, make a fuss. It's like, come on, feel the noise, which is back to that, come on, feel, which is with Slade, right? So come on, make a fuss. And then it goes, too many pies, not enough exercise. Of course, he's one of us. Yeah. Right? So that's where you go about too many pies, not enough exercise, of course, he's one of us. But Ken Bruce did say, he said, too many pies, not enough exercise. Of course, he's one of us. He goes, might be one of the greatest rhyming couplets in pop history. The next year we got T-shirts printed with it on the front of the T-shirts, and then Ken Bruce, greatest rhyming couplet in pop history. So, and we performed it at the Stand Comedy Club in Edinburgh, and Dave sang his heart out, and I handed out blow-up guitars to everyone in the audience, and I think that's the one and only time we've ever performed it live. But if anybody wants us to come and do it for them, we will. It was one of the best 3 minutes 40 seconds of my life.
Well, as you say, it has a very strong well-being message at its heart about getting exercise. What's your own approach to staying in shape, Richard?
For me, I kind of think I need to, in some sense, have a project or have a sense of being like a hero, I think. or like having some sort of, that's just how my brain works. I need to be able to, run 5K faster than I did last time, or sort of, walk further than I did before, have some sort of target. So I need that for me. And like last year I did a thing where I was like, right, I'm going to climb. I worked out that from my front door to the top of Blackford Hill in Edinburgh, back to my front door was almost exactly 5 kilometers. So I thought what I'll do is I'll try and climb Blackford Hill every day. I'll walk out the front door. Yeah. That was the plan. But then I didn't quite manage it every day. But I thought, right, when I realized that, so what I did was I thought, well, I'll make a film of me doing it with the times and all of this. And then I can, and then at the end of the film, I'll be, let's see if I can climb it 20 times, Day 1, top of Blackford Hill. So I did that, and I made a little film of me climbing the hill, and that made me feel brilliant. I mean, not just the fresh air, not just the walking, not just the headspace. After doing it a few times on my own, and I wasn't so hugely out of breath and, sweating, I then started to ask people to come with me. So I would then kind of go up the hill with somebody and have a chat with them and sort of sit at the top of the hill. And I was timing it, but I gave myself the opportunity when I got to the top hill to pause my timer. So, and we'd sort of sit and have a chat, and that was really good. So things like that, I got a great deal of, benefit from, just the headspace, but also the fact of starting to do it with other people, was quite good.
Well, Richard, you are a hero, having contributed this great song into the zeitgeist, as it were. And with your permission, we're going to play out with it. And I should remind you, anyone who's doing a bit of last-minute Christmas shopping, that if you'd like a rare collector's CD edition of Santa the Scotsman, it is available at Louise Innes's one-of-a-kind gallery in the Eastgate Centre. And by the way, you can get a book at the same time. So think of it that way. You're buying the CD and you get a free book. Okay, Richard, thank you very much. And I hope you have a terrific Christmas and a brilliant new year. And I hope to see you very soon.
Thanks, Jeff. Total pleasure talking to you.
Well, that's about it from this festive edition of Ways to Wellbeing. I just wanted to show you these pictures. It's our volunteer drivers, almost 40 of them, enjoying a recent Christmas dinner, and well earned, I should say. And if you are interested in becoming one of our volunteer drivers or walk leaders or board members, and you fancy, doing something different next year, well, make it a resolution and give us a call, or go on our website at p4w.org.uk, or if you want to be a volunteer driver, give Fiona McInnes, our transport manager, a call. Here's a picture of her dressed as an elf at a recent Rotary Club event in Inverness. Actually, I think she always dresses like that. Anyway, that's it from Partnerships for Wellbeing for 2022. We'd really like to take this opportunity to thank all our volunteers, all our funders, all our supporters, everyone who's helped our wee charity over the past 12 months. And may we sincerely wish you all the very best for 2023. Bye for now.
It's Christmas time in Scotland, and my kid said to me, just one question, Daddy, before I go to sleep. How will Santa find me? So I said, wherever he may roam, Santa will find you, because he's coming home. Christmas cake, he likes to put in supper, and when he arrives knee is too tight.